I'm trying to contain my rage. I hope I did a good job of it. We don't believe in bridezillas. There's no such thing as a bridezilla. It's just someone who knows what they want.
Hi, and welcome to the Your Story Studios podcast, a podcast where we talk about all things content creation. And today on the show, I'm joined by Kim, and today we're going to be talking about dealing with videography clients in weddings. Kim, tell me how you deal with your clients.
I am obsessed with my clients. I love them. Sometimes it's so funny because I'll go away and I'll edit their film. So I've spent 50 hours with them after their wedding. And in my mind, I'm like, we're best friends. And then I'll deliver the film. They'll be like, thank you so much. And I'll be like, are we not continuing this friendship? Are we not going out for a brunch tomorrow?
Is this the end?
Yeah, is this the end of us? Some of my clients will say that, it's sad because I will be voicemailing leading up to delivering their film. And then they're like, does this stop? And I'm like, no.
It doesn't have to.
It doesn't have to. Not if you don't want it to. It will never stop. So yeah, I love my clients. I come from a background, as we spoke about, but I come from a background of theatre and directing and, a lot of amateur theatre, a lot of working with people that want to act or haven't acted or are experienced in acting. And I've also worked the other side with filmmakers and also being told what to do, working, either whether it was floor managing or whether it was being on camera or, vision mixing. I've done it in that capacity as well. So it's really nice for me to be focused on, I'm the filmmaker and I have the creative vision, but your day is important and you are actually my most important. So a lot of people will say to me, oh, your films are so fun. I was like, they can be. Oh, your films are so romantic. They can be. They can also be really relaxed. So recently I've just started asking people that haven't hired me and saying, oh, can you give some feedback? It's completely fine. I always assume it's budget, maybe I'm not the right person for them. But if I haven't met them, I always like to ask, can I ask why you went with someone else? Just any feedback's amazing. And I actually thought, I was surprised saying, we just wanted a relaxed film. And then I thought, I have examples of that. So now I've started asking what type of vibe, because I have great examples of that. And I believe I love doing, I call them main character films. They look great. They just look like $1 million. It's fast paced sometimes. But then I also love just the chilled out ones where I'm there to capture the vibe of the day and the essence of it. They don't want too much direction. They want to look great. They want to look natural. So, and I feel like you can't have one without the other. And I feel like all films actually have that. They're not, from the get-go party film. There's peaks and troughs throughout. I think that's what makes it great. It's the same as when I film. I love to edit with some shots are slow-mo, some are fast, because I think you need a bit of both to tell a full story. I love hearing from them. And again, it's a background of working in corporate and getting a brief, as you probably know, and saying, this is the type of film, this is the style, this is the music, this is the vibe we're going for, and fulfilling that brief. I also get clients that say, we don't know what we want. We just want a video, capture our day, and we trust you to do it. And I say, okay, just give me, how do you want to film the day? I'll get stuff from them, but I won't be so locked into what I'm doing. And then also they have this idea, but makeup and hair's run an hour behind because they didn't communicate the time they needed. And then I have to still bring that energy, but I have to do it in a different way.
How do you do that?
I'm just experienced, I would say. And I've done it quickly. And a few years ago, I had a wedding where they wanted a fun vibe. They wanted lots of their bridal party, all that. And then it rained. And then they had, I want to say 13 minutes for photo and videos outside. And me and the photographer were looking at each other. And that's where teamwork comes in, because I know she needs to get these shots. I can shoot while she's directing, but I also need some. So I kind of gave her the first chunk of it. And I said, you do it, you get the shots you need to. We need our safeties. And then I just shot it. And then I just went out of my body and directed it. And then I shot the dance floor and all that. And then I came back and I actually walked away from that wedding thinking, I don't know what I have. I normally know, but because the idea was different to what I had. I said, this is completely different. And then when I went to editing, I thought, no, you've actually got this. You've actually captured exactly what they wanted. And you just have to be adaptable. So I've had times where I think people have this idea of what they want, but then they experience the day and then they understand. They're not in another room. They're not on another set. They were there. So they know it was rushed or it was we were saving time here, that we couldn't take you for longer at your first look, which you wanted to do all your photos before, but you were just ready for your first look. And they understand that. So I love delivering them the film and then them saying to me, we can't believe you got that, because the day just went so fast. And then I think that's what I'm there to do, and that's my experience. And that's why I love filming the weddings, because I've done it so much now, and I still enjoy doing it. Things will come up, and that makes the person who's filming a wedding so special, or photographing a wedding is you have to be adaptable. This doesn't work. We've had a wedding recently where the photographer and I thought we were going to be completely rained out inside all day. So we called each other before saying, okay, this is a plan. This is where the venue looks nice inside. Then it had a sunset. So the weather just cleared up for us amazingly. I haven't experienced everything, but I've experienced a lot. So when someone says, this has happened, I'm like, yep. And it's happened several times before and it will keep happening. So I think that experience has made me better and I can deal with it all. And that's what you're paying wedding professionals to do. There isn't this thing called wedding tax. People say, oh, it's more expensive. It's more expensive because we've got the experience, because we've done this multiple times, and because we get one shot at it. That's what you're paying for, is that we know what we're doing. And if something happens, we will help you deal with it.
Yeah. And for context, how many weddings would you say you have shot?
Oh, my goodness.
As I put you on the spot.
I said over 200, over 300, over 200, over between 2 to 3, possibly. I've also second shot a few when I was younger and photographed a lot. Let's say conservatively 200.
Yeah.
Very easily 200, yes. Now that I'm thinking back, yeah.
And these are 200 carbon copy weddings. They're the exact same one after another, or is there variety in the wedding industry? I think there's variety for me. Not everyone does it, and that's what makes everyone unique, is that some people have this cookie cutter approach, which is completely fine, because you know what? The client can see that and they can say, yep, that is exactly the film I want. I can see myself in it. That's what I imagine. Great. Us as videographers and working in the industry would be able to watch that and be like, that is the same in every way, which is fine. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. There are elements that are the same for weddings, and that's when I lean into it's like riding a bike. So if something happens, I'm like, okay, it's like riding a bike. But there's definitely, I always like to aim to make it personable and to make it special for the couple. So if they say we want really romantic, we're excited for this, or they might have kids and they say we really want our kids involved, I can just shoot your kids, but you know what would be cute is if the kids are actually, you know, the girl's getting her makeup done, or she's having a moment packing her her petals in the thing. I like it to make sense without being forced. Or even the boy, I say if there's a boy getting ready, it might be say a father and a son getting ready with each other. I say, oh, what do you guys normally do together? Oh, we love board games. I'm like, have the board game out, because that's going to also get him calm. The child, you know, he's going to have fun. He might not. I've had it where they don't want to stop playing and I thought, I have to go. But it's... Yeah, don't work with kids.
Yeah. It's a fun area to be in, but it's like, okay, well, let's not film a wedding how I would normally do it. Let's film it and capture your children having special moments, because that's more important than just, oh, this veil shot, oh, this makeup shot. I capture a lot. I don't use a lot of my footage. So I capture... That sounds weird to say, but you know, at the end of the day, a highlight film is 7 minutes long. I'm not going to capture all of it, but I am going to relax you and get you ready for later. And the moments I do get are going to be quality. Yep. So that's what I focus on.
Yeah. So you said 7 minutes. Is that a hard, fast rule, or is it? It's about 7 minutes, and then it goes to 14 minutes. Or... Yeah,
it's never 14. Depends what package they get, obviously, but it's never hard and fast rule, but I always try to be on the heavier side. I don't want someone getting a film and it being 5 minutes exactly.
Or feel ripped off.
Yeah, exactly. So I always tend to lean towards, it's normally around 6.5. And then I had one that was 8 because that's what it was. And the music worked. They gave lots on the day. And that's being mindful of managing clients' expectations. So when they say to me, we love this wedding film. I love asking for examples of my own. I say, check out my Instagram before we have our pre-consult, which I go over the style and everything, get to know them a little more. I'll say, check out my Instagram and see if there's any clips. You can actually just send them to me. If there's any clips you like that you felt resonated with you and you like, because I know how I filmed it. They'll send me, I had a client send me this film and I thought, this is great. They were ready to be on camera. They were ready to look. It was a very stylized edit and it was in the city. This person was getting married in country. And so I just managed that expectations. And it was more that I said, this is very main character energy for you, but your groom isn't here. So is he going to be happy being directed this way? And she said, probably not. I said, that's okay, but we can have some little spots of you looking like that. And I said, I want him to feel comfortable. Or they'll send a film. I said, they had a lot of time to do that. And I want to be respectful of your day. You've only got half an hour and I don't want to go over that. I want to, work it in. But it's managing their expectations of that. And then as well, like I can see because I give them a choice because not everyone likes their voice and likes to hear it.
Not many people like their voice.
No, I mean, I love there's been one or two be like, no, I have a great speaking voice. And I thought, you do. You really do. But not many people like that. But then when I hear it back, I say, are you happy to be guided or do you want a hard, fast music edit? And they say, yep. Or they'll say, no, guide us. And then I'll hear their vows and I'll remember the day and I'll see the speeches. And I think you have to have some audio in there. I give them their full speeches and ceremony, but I think this is just really going to take it up a level. Or sometimes I think a music video, I can be more creative in the way I film their day. So it really depends on the couple. I'm always doing new things though. I always try, like sometimes I surprise myself that I'm like, oh, I've got this idea. I wonder if it'll work. And then I get it back. I'm like, that worked. Or that looks better. Wow. Well done. So there's not a cookie cutter approach, but there is, a wedding day normally goes, you get ready in the morning, you get married. But I've also done ones that are elopement films where they've gone up. We got up at sunrise and we went on for a walk, like adventure on a cliff. They did their elopement, their private ceremony, and then they came back and then they had their wedding with their family, and then we went off again. They didn't do the full dancing or anything. A wedding day can be whatever the couple wants it to be. I always say it's whatever you want. So I'm just here to capture it and guide you.
Yeah, great. So there are a lot of people that when they think about wedding videos, they think Bridezillas. And that's one of the reasons they don't like to do weddings. What are your thoughts on the Bridezilla?
I'm trying to contain my rage. I hope I did a good job of it. We don't believe in Bridezillas. There's no such thing as a Bridezilla. It's just someone who knows what they want. I'm very lucky. I will say that. I'm very lucky. I have great clients. I've had great clients. My first weddings were friends. That's how I started because they hired me as a photographer. And then I would say, well, can I do a little bit of film as well? And then I obviously moved across. So I've only had really good experiences. I don't think there's ever a bad client. Or if there is, I will know when they inquire, and it might be they want something that I don't do. We're after full coverage, doco, we don't care about the quality. Not they would say that, we don't care about the quality, but I would say I have cancelled a client before because I cancelled them. I said, tell me about your day. This is after they booked, and it got the scope moved from it's going to be this to it's going to be this. And I thought, I can't cover that. I have to get a second shooter. And then they would describe it. I was like, I have to get a third shooter. I've done it before, but it's not what my preference and it's not what I'm good at. There are companies that have those 3 shooters. And I said to them, hey guys, I just want to jump in because then they came to me, we were talking and they said, oh, we don't need this captured. We don't need this captured. And I said, hang on. I don't want you to minimize. It's your day. It's actually not mine. And I appreciate that you are minimizing you're changing your day to fit into me when the fact is I can't split into 2. I don't want you to do that. And they said, what are our options? I said, well, I unfortunately think the best option is for you to hire my friend. And they thought I said, no, he does it. He specializes in this. Why book me when you can book someone that's actually suited towards you? And I said, but that's not me saying no. You go speak to him. He'll talk you through, look at his work, and then come back and see what you think. And it was more for them. And then they said, we agree with you. And I said, I'm really sad, but I agree with me too. It wasn't going to be conducive to the day. I didn't want them to make their day smaller than it had to be. They were having this massive celebration. That's great. I'm one person, and I think I get a lot for one person, but I can't split myself in two. And also, I don't like to put myself in a spot where, or I've got 10 minutes to get to here, providing that traffic is 10 minutes. I say, I have like, when I do my timelines, I have rules of, okay, I'm going to allow double the time here, double the time here. If we get there, great, I'll do this. But it's a wedding day, and a lot of people are traveling traffic time. It works in school time. So when people are going across, I'm like, you've allowed this, but you haven't looked at school traffic time. And I've had to suggest that they get ready closer because I thought you're going to, and again, it comes down to experience. I've done that before and I've got caught in that traffic. But you know who also got caught in the traffic? The people behind me. So they were late. I thought, oh my goodness, I'm going to be late to this wedding. Arrived with heaps of time. They were half an hour late because they got caught in the traffic.
Do you find that the majority of your weddings are on the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, or has it spilled over to Fridays, Mondays, midweek weddings on a Wednesday, and you do have that school traffic?
Yeah, a lot of mine are on Fridays. Thursday weddings are popular. I've had every day of the week, but a lot of them do have that peak hour traffic, and then also, school traffic. Not so much Saturday, Sunday weddings, but even...
It's just weekend traffic then.
Yeah, weekend traffic. So you don't know what the time that is. But yeah, I have all different types. And some people will say they really want to get married in March. And this is the clients that will ask my date availability. And I've had to tell a client for this November, I have no Saturdays available. They're all booked. A few of the Sundays are booked. A few of the Fridays are booked. And then she said, what about a Wednesday? I said, oh, Wednesday's all free. So that's
my editing day.
Yeah, I was like, Wednesday's all free. You can have any Wednesday. When a client comes to me saying, oh, we're doing a weekday, I'm like, they're all good. You're all good for the year. We don't have many. So I love those clients. So more of those.
Yep. And to finish off this episode, Kim, can you give our audience any red flags that you might see when dealing with your wedding videography clients?
I would say a red flag for me is when they send me someone else's work. And I don't get that often. I used to when I was younger, especially when they would send work and I would know the videographer. It's a great film. They're charging 4 to 5 times more. So don't let a client put their expectations, because you are you and you can do what you do. And I think what I do is great. So I would say have a look at my work and send me examples from my work that you like. Another red flag would be probably just when they're unrealistic with, and it's not I actually say it's not a red flag with the client, it's a red flag of their timeline. So I will say to them, let me look at your timeline. I've got it from the photographer. I'll have a look and I'll bring it up with them saying, these are all green flags, or this is a beige flag here. It's a little bit, just letting them know, hey, you haven't got a lot of time here. So I'm really sorry. I want to respect your day and I want you to have time with your guests, but we've only got 20 minutes of light. So it is important that you greet your guests, because I'll always want you to greet your guests. But then I'll say, I'll never force you, but it's important that you guys come out because we need to capture something. And going back into, I guess, the talk about difficult clients, it's setting the expectations. Not every client is for you, and that's okay. You can't mold yourself. I like to say I love clients like romantic, fun, just want the day captured, but some clients aren't for you, and that's okay. Don't try to force yourself into that. My ideal client is they love my work. They want a wedding film, and they just are going to be happy on their day, and they're just excited for their wedding. That's my ideal client. So look for those. The more of those people you shoot, the more you'll get. Be open to, sometimes people don't know, they're not in the wedding industry themselves, but they're also not videographers, so they don't know what they're asking. Or sometimes they'll have an idea and you're like, that specific shot's going to take 15 minutes and we really don't do that. And it's okay. It might be important to them. They might say, well, we'll actually make time for that. We'll do a first look, or we'll do this. So be open to it, put your style out, and be open to feedback from it as well, is what I would say.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Kim, for joining us today on the Your Story Studios podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.